This is I Love Black People Radio on HUR Voices, Sirius XM Channel 141. I Love Black People is more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong worldwide. I am because we are. Special thanks to AFLAC for supporting I Love Black People Radio.
Greetings and welcome to another edition of I Love Black People, a wonderful episode made great by you. And thank you so much for you as the listeners who've literally been here to inspire, encourage, and enlighten us as relates to all the ideas and the topics that we've been able to share as we continue to spread this love. And I think as we embark on a new season, it's important that we literally set, our goals, and we call it in the tech startup space, a roadmap for the year, and how important it is as we, set our goals and look forward with anticipation. Now, again, sometimes we look at some of the difficulties that we've gone through, especially again, ups and downs. That we may face at family, with work, and the greater community in the world. So I think there's quite a few of those things that, again, we will meet the challenge. We stand on the shoulders of our ancestors who've been through much worse. I think it's important for us to even frame and contextualize. Again, our people were the first to literally create civilization. So we've had our highs and we've had lows. And then, in the Americas, we dealt with enslavement and colonization, and we've never stopped our resistance. And I think that part of it is a testament to our resilience, our strength. And I think as we see a lot of the things in the world, everything has its day. Like it's watching, so many of the things we've seen and being vocal, things like genocide, things like, the use of violence as a solution, as opposed to seeing it as a problem. These are things that, again, we are here to address those issues, and that we have an opportunity with every day we get to do better than we did before. So again, be encouraged. And one of the things that we accomplished last year and I feel really good about, we finally launched our I Love Black People app. So if you haven't downloaded it, it's our I Love Black People Safe Places app. It's literally a global safety net as we bring people and places together that are what we call Pan-African friendly, Black friendly, and the whole purpose is literally leveraging what we learned from the original Green Book by Victor Green. And we're literally super excited that we've been able to, I think we have over 20-some thousand businesses that are on the application. And again, this wouldn't be possible without people like yourself. The app is crowdsourced. So our members are the ones who are identifying, verifying these Black-friendly, Pan-African-friendly spaces throughout 8 categories. And these are key categories that are important to people activity, that are critical, that you don't have Afrophobia. And we call Afrophobia the irrational fear or hatred of people perceived to be of African descent. And we say perceived because, if you call yourself Black, if you call yourself Akabulan patriot, if you call yourself a Zulu, you call yourself whatever you call yourself, the people who are doing this racism and this Afrophobia don't ask. They're not scientists themselves, but their treatment is very problematic. And we know race is a construct. It's not based on any physical science, but racism is real. And the consequences and the harms that it creates are long lasting. So us being able to, for the first time in the history, to create a crowdsource application to protect our communities from the harms and humiliations of racism and Afrophobia is fantastic. And we couldn't do it without so many of you, again, who've contributed over the years. With the original platforms, when we changed how we approached the original wallet product we had with the Bitcoin, we actually pivoted to this I Love Black People, as we saw that it wasn't about, money or crypto. It really was about community. And it really was about communities, because we're not monolithic. It's about that 1.5 billion people of African descent being able to be rejoined again. And again, we've been through so much to separate us. Our focus is actually, how do we rejoin ourselves in a way that we can mutually benefit, and again, still celebrate our tribal and ethnic diversities as a people. And one of the things that we're working on now is also, you'll see an upcoming year, is a tribal diversity campaign where we celebrate our diversity. Too long, our differences have been used to divide and rule us, instead of us celebrating our differences and coming together to do that. And so I think there's many things that we can do, because there's deliberate things to separate us. We can do deliberate things to bring ourselves together. So with the celebration of our, again, we're not monolithic as a people. To celebrate that is important for us to draw strength from and power from. And with the app, we're leveraging also our Saturday classes. If you haven't attended, we have Saturday classes, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have a Dr. Tyreen Wright, who's a professor at CUNY in New York. And she blesses us every Saturday and really breaks down Pan-African history, how we as a collective have come together uniquely. And she wrote a book about Booker T. Washington, Booker T. Washington in Africa, the making of a Pan-Africanist. And as you know, before I attended Howard University, HU, I attended Tuskegee. That's where I started. And Booker T. Washington has always been a role model, someone who was born into servitude, enslavement, as like shadow slavery. And I think sometimes we don't really speak to how oppressive that system was, because unfortunately, slavery, using the English language, is like a big catch-all. It's like saying the word marriage. Marriage in 400 years ago wasn't the same marriage that we have now, but we'll use the same words. And so there's a context that's often left out about what different societies have done. But yet the society that we live in the United States had one of the most brutal systems, the most dehumanizing, literally. When I say Booker T. Washington was born enslaved, he literally was born in a system where his life was valued like a pig, cattle, or horse, not as a human being. I mean, there was even debates that did Black people have souls? So again, as descendants of African amazing people who started this whole thing called civilization, we've been through some ups and downs. And to be able to not only survive and resist through those things, Booker T. Washington showed some really, a legacy for us at Tuskegee, 1881, founded July 4th. It was definitely a foundation, and Dr. Tyreen Wright uses that foundation to teach about Pan-Africanism in a way that's very helpful. And for those who haven't joined, before we have her speak, we have this incredible our members. And so much of tech is, we talk about not just the X's and O's, the bits and bytes and of the tech, the program languages and the code base, all the ways they talk about this technology. But the real power is the people. And we think, if anything, the use of technology should maximize our ability to organize and organize and organize, like good brother Kwame Ture would always say. So we use these tools to build, and one of the blessings that we have from this technology is that we've been able to build a group of members from literally all over the world. From our beginnings, we have over 100,000 people who've joined us in some capacity throughout the world and contributed, and we're thankful. And for our Saturday class, as a part of it, we have members of our that come on and actually give their own lectures as it relates to what's going on in the world. We have like a weekly topic, and people come up and do a write up, and then from there they come on to the class and they give an opportunity to speak on the different issues. And then we've added this more recently. We have an additional opportunity for the best speech, the best lecture. They do a redo of that lecture during the week on the app. And that's another thing. For the class, we use Zoom, but with our new app that we launched last year, we now have the ability to do live streams where we don't have to use Zoom. We don't have to depend on Meta or any of these other platforms. We can actually have our own live stream in-app experience. And we encourage as many of you to participate in that through the week, so that, again, we can share information on a platform that we control. And one of the neat features of our app is that it doesn't matter what language you speak, it instantly translates. So we have, I know we have for sure Swahili, English, and French. And I think we might have another language, might be Portuguese, where no matter what the person is speaking, whatever language your phone uses, it would automatically change the post into the language that you use. So it's pretty amazing. And so we're building this in order to bring us together, not to, separate us or create, hierarchies. It's literally for us to collectively work together. And that's important to solve these problems. Again, much of the work that we're doing is really trying to leverage the brains of our communities with new ideas to solve old problems. So it's definitely critical as we do that to have the tools in place that we control for the interests of our own agendas. And I think that's, again, the power of technology is in our hands. It's not inherently good. It's not inherently bad. It's up to us. And with your support, we've built something that we know is special. And now we just want to make sure we get the good news out to as many people as possible so that they can participate, enjoy, and benefit from a world-class experience, so that we can have world-class real-life experiences without being afraid of Afrophobia and racism as we move about the world. So I think that's super, super important to talk about. And we'll be bringing even in more activities around the app. And then even with our, for those we have our office, our headquarters in Harare, Zimbabwe office, along with the office in Washington, D.C. And one of the things we're focusing on in Washington and in Harare is a solar startup. So we're supporting a solar startup, Firefly. So we've identified a Zimbabwean who's got expertise in solar technology, and we're doing everything to leverage, our communities as well as resources to help develop a project that will electrify, residential as well as SMEs, small, medium enterprises in Zimbabwe, and from there, the southern region of Africa. So these are things that we're doing, again, to continue to push our communities forward, leveraging technology, leveraging the love we have for each other to build and grow. And these are just, again, one of the things that we did last year was we went to China, who's now, I mean, again, when you talk about the world as it changes, and they talk about communism and capitalism, all these things, who won, what won. I know the Berlin Wall did fall, so many people saw that as the fall of communism. But after spending 2 weeks in China, from was it Hunan and Guangzhou and Shenzhen, I'm clear that the Chinese have won. Now that part, people can debate what they think about Chinese politics, Chinese economics, what they've created and been able to synthesize and collaborate with free markets, along with the CCP, is pretty amazing. And when you go there, you see the amazing cities, amazing the functionality and the efficiency is, and they got like over 1 billion people in one country. Like, that's a real number. United States maybe has 100, what, 50, 100 and something. Literally, these cats is 150 million or so, but what they have in, maybe it's got to be more than that. It's probably close to 300 million, maybe, in the United States. I need to check the numbers, but 1 point whatever billion is a real number, and they've been able to create such a efficient as well as beautiful in many places world. I mean, economy. Yeah, the United States is 341 million people, but 1 point something billion people having and safe. I know they have all kinds of systems in place, but it was one of the safest places with such a high population that I've been. And I had been in China maybe 13, 14 years ago. And right after the Beijing Olympics, it was almost like a ghost town. Like, you see the infrastructure again from the Olympics, but the capacity didn't seem like. But what they've done in this short period of time is phenomenal. And they did it with a communist country, leveraging the tools of the places that we oftentimes talk about as being, not what we need to be about, but literally, this is what we talk about. We need to be, super, super aware of. And, we're going to continue to be aware of these opportunities, but looking at the solar that we're doing with our, projects, that's what's important, that we leverage the brains of as many people as possible so that we can then make the solutions available to our communities. So we're definitely excited and thrilled to be able to, focus in Zimbabwe on these solutions. And I think in many ways, as you know, we've been also, working on projects in Tuskegee, the original Greenwood. And solar could be, Alabama has really not been very friendly with solar, but the high cost of energy is a real issue for so many all over the world, not just Zimbabwe. So we're in a situation where we see these parallels to bring together so that we can leverage what we learn in these different areas to help each other. And me bringing up Tuskegee, one of the things that I want to share with you is that we also are finally starting our own nonprofit. And the inspiration for this project, really does, originate in Tuskegee, Macon County, Alabama, when one of the first, communities, successful Black communities, probably most consistently, Macon County, Alabama has been majority Black county probably for the longest period of time in American history. And the Greenwood that's celebrated often in Tulsa, Oklahoma, has this origin story in Tuskegee, where Booker T. Washington founded, that first community. And I forget the name of the brother that helped launch the Tulsa, the Greenwood community. in Tulsa, but he was originally from Alabama himself. So when we start talking about these connections about building community that are self-sufficient and collaborative and collective, we see this as something pretty awesome. And with the work we've been doing in tech, we see this as something that we were adding to the work we're doing. So we've already been doing the work. So now we're gonna have a nonprofit. That nonprofit is the Greenwood Labs, where we're literally leveraging technology to solve problems in our community. And the whole basis of this is education. And what you all have probably participated in and know and highly are aware of is our Black Blockchain Summit that we're coming up on the 9th year of. And that summit is the foundation of the education for the last almost 9 years, where we've educated brothers and sisters from all over the world how these relevant technologies can solve, serious problems in our community. And instead of waiting for someone to come save us, like we've done in so many other areas, we've literally been studying these tools like blockchain and using that understanding to apply to the problems that we face already in our communities. So now that we're doing this, we're going to take it from being just a 2-day conference to a year-round activity that we spend a great deal of focus on building and again, elevating our communities. Now, we're focusing on historically Black colleges, universities, just like Howard is where we found it. But of course, you got UDC with students from Morgan State, Bowie, Coppin, even Dell State. We've had students from North Carolina A&T, Tuskegee University, and we're looking at including students of Langston in Oklahoma. And the focus is, again, taking the best and brightest, leveraging these tools to help solve old problems in our community. And we'll be having pitch competitions, essay contests, and still what you always know about us, bringing the best and brightest people from all over the world to convene to talk about how to use these technologies to solve problems in our communities. So us focusing on that year round, I think it's something that, again, as we, uncertainty makes people feel uncomfortable. And one of the things, and many of you know, I follow football, and the NFL definitely is racist. But that being said, Shedeur Sanders, who I've been following, he's been going through this horrible humiliation ritual with the NFL, and this reminds us how these corporations have always behaved consistently, unfortunately, and our resistance has been consistent, even more so. But one of the things he said is about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, and I think sometimes we get so comfortable with being comfortable that we don't want to continue to grow the uncomfortableness of the growth. And many times that whole process of growing can cause us to be uncomfortable. And we need to be able to work through that. And in order to work through that, we got to be able to develop the way to, again, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Us convening and working with the best and brightest minds in our communities is the best way for us to move forward in order to create a world where we can, again, continue to grow, but solve problems that are facing our people. And we're not going to just be focused on HBCUs. We're going to also be targeting high schools with some of the best and brightest that are about to leave home and do things that are super amazing. Be supportive. And I experienced some of those same programs when I was younger, different science fairs and things that actually helped me see that there was a big world out there and that I could be a part of. And then again, I am because we are, like that connecting of that promise to a collectiveness. Because again, technology is not going to save us. We're going to have to save ourselves. And to be able to pull those pieces together where we have the best and brightest minds tackling problems, leveraging new tools, horrible and disrespectful. And we can no longer, make peace or normalize this disrespect. And our expectations out of ourselves, our community, and those that we engage has to increase. And I see, these things that people call politics and business and other things so similar in the sense that we can't tolerate lying. We can't tolerate people exploiting us. We can't tolerate the so-called lesser of two evils. I'm not going to turn this into a religious conversation, but we here to serve our purpose. We were brought into existence. Whatever you think about the existence, I know it wasn't based on enslavement, colonialism, genocide. It has to be something higher than that. So we're going to have an awesome year with your support. We're going to keep getting it. Don't stop. Get it. And as I always end this with is I am because we are. Thank you so much for being you. We will be successful.
This is I Love Black People Radio on HUR Voices, Sirius XM, channel 141. I Love Black People is more than a radio show. I Love Black People is a call from our ancestors to protect us from racial profiling all across the world. Go to iloveblackpeople.com and become a member today. Membership empowers you to live fearlessly and protect Black people globally from racism and xenophobia. Join us today and become a member of our global network with an online global green book with Black-owned and Black-friendly businesses to protect you and your community. Membership is free, and with you, we will become 10 million strong worldwide. I am because we are. Special thanks to AFLAC for supporting I Love Black People Radio.